Hi, this is Yarrow, and joining me on the call today is Marcus, a very long-term client, one of our very first InboxDone clients. So I'm excited to hear how his life has changed in the about a year since he started working with us. So Marcus, welcome and hello.
Thanks, Yarrow. Appreciate that. Yeah, likewise. Thanks. It's been a great session, a great couple of periods of extended time working with you guys, and you've certainly helped us no end with growing our business.
Appreciate that. Now, Marcus, obviously you can hear, has an accent. I think you're our first Australian customer for sure. What exactly do you do, and what's your business about, Marcus?
So our business, Yarrow, is about removing the burden of paper process out of construction companies predominantly, but also field services operations. In most of these companies, they have a problem with being able to get data to and from the field. And so we become a bit of a data custodian for them. We do that through two ways. Namely, we have a software solution, which is a software as a service that we offer our customers. It's a sort of a lead-in product. And then we provide services around that. So we've had a number of years working within services-based businesses and helping them to understand how to utilize and get the most out of software, how to automate their business processes, how to improve their capture of data from the field, from workers and construction workers and everyday operators that are sitting out there dealing with information and data flow. And so we have done also with, as I said, a service that we provide to those customers to actually do the implementation.
Okay, it sounds very technical, Marcus, so I'm not going to dive too much or I'm going to get lost, but I am curious, before you started working with us, what was the impetus, like the thought in your mind that led you to look for an inbox manager or help in this kind of area? What was your situation like back then?
Yeah, well, I think we got to a point where the business was certainly growing, and we'd had a few staff changeovers as well at the time. And as a result of that, there was an obvious influx of additional workload that was coming my way as CEO of the company. And our marketing resource at the time, she actually highlighted that we needed to consider automation in process within our own business and how to handle that. And so she put me on to InboxDone. She suggested that would be something that I would need to consider. And so I did a bit of research, and it made sense. And so that was as part of our growth strategy and looking down the line of where we were going to be causing more problems with regards to an overload of incoming queries. We needed to look at a solution as to how we could best handle that, and InboxDone had the right solution at the right time.
Okay, so just to clarify, was this a case where it was your personal inbox that you were thinking you needed help with, or more just customer service emails coming in, queries about products and services, or maybe both?
Yeah, at the start it was both. But what we on the sales side, it's about the being able to handle lead generation and also managing our meetings and our customer service side. So yeah, that became more obvious over the period of time.
Okay, so now I know, probably like myself, when I went through the transition and all of our clients, there's that kind of apprehension about handing over something like email, especially a personal email, to another human being. So can you maybe explain, how was the experience of going through that training period and the handover of your email?
Yeah, look, Claire did a really great job. She really highlighted what the requirements were on my side, how to understand and appreciate what the thought process was that I needed to consider as we were going through this. She gave great confidence in the privacy and the confidentiality, and really helped to just feel at ease with what we were doing and how we were going to be working with InboxDone. So yeah, that experience was great, and I certainly appreciate the efforts that Claire went to explain that and to give us the confidence that this was going to be the right move for us.
Yeah, how did you feel the first time someone sent an email that wasn't you? Was that like surprising that it was, you know, as easy as it was, or?
To be fair, it probably was. Yeah, it was definitely surprising. Once you start to feel like you can take a bit of the hands off some of those emails, it's a little bit confronting. But then at the same time, you realise, well, in fact, the answers are still getting out there, and it's a reflection of what the answer is that I would have given. So it's no different to really who I am and what I've said, but it just helps to release and lessen the burden of the inbox that's growing and constantly growing. So yeah, absolutely, it was great when it started.
Now, I know from speaking to you before, you had a little bit more than just kind of clearing the inbox. You were looking for follow-up, little bit of sales support to help bring in new customers as well, because you're getting a lot of queries by email from prospective customers, right? So can you maybe explain, because I personally, I'm not, you know, in there in your inbox, so I don't even know myself exactly how this all played out. But how have you moved on to actually work with, I know Kevin, who's your inbox manager, how have you guys sort of continued to move not just to reacting to emails, but actually creating some kind of a sales process, and Kevin helping you with that?
Yeah, well, we had a sales process already that we had developed, and we were working with, and so we're working with the website leads, working with marketing lead generation. We've got a very successful model of bringing in leads. The follow up from that and the transition of that was where Kevin was helping out, was because Kevin's background is in sales, and so he gave a lot of great advice. He saw some of these emails that were coming in, and he started to structure in such a way that was very useful to not only us, obviously, but also the customer or the lead was finding it a positive experience. And so it represented a positive experience from our business to them. And that touch point, that first touch point, is obviously super critical in making sure you've made a connection. And so Kevin started to move towards that, and found that within our sales process, he could provide further assistance and further knowledge and experience. And he then started to set upon helping us with putting that through a sales email follow-up. So categorizing the emails, moving them through a staged process, and doing a regular touch point over a period of time until such time either, number one, it was exhausted, or two, there was a secured meeting, in which case then he was able to jump back into my calendar and reorganize and reconfirm and ensure that there was no essentially wasted time on my side where going back and forward to try and find that right time slot in the calendar. I was working very closely with Kevin to identify in my calendar when are the time slots that I was available to have those meetings, and Kevin was then able to structure the meetings with the new leads to ensure that we fit those time blocks.
Right. So just to clarify, it's a process of sending emails to follow up on potential customers, and then when they're ready to book into, I guessing it's some kind of discovery call with you as a next step, he facilitates the calendar bookings with you. So he kind of acts as like a connecting tool to bring the lead to the next step, and then ideally to become a customer, you know, once you speak to them. So, you know, that function is, I guess, is a little bit more than just, you know, basic customer service. Do you find that it has resulted in like an increase in sales, or what's the biggest benefit for you as a result of doing that?
Yeah, well, I haven't totally measured the increase in sales, but I would say that without identifying that, I'd say definitely there's been an increase in customer traction. There's been an increase certainly in new deals getting through the door, and new deals being closed. There's no question about that. It's certainly helped with us with regards to getting those initial consults, and also getting a lot more information prior to the consult that we have with our customers or with our prospects. So we've got now a quite a refined process where we ask the lead for information about what it is they're looking for. They fill out a an online form, which is part of our software solution that goes directly into our software. And then I basically, with a little bit of prep, I can look through that. And prior to the session, I know that's coming up. I now have all the ammunition that I need to have a very valid and direct conversation with our leads. So it certainly helped to streamline the process significantly. I don't need to do all that follow-up and all that background prior any longer. I can just know that I'm coming into looking at my calendar. What is it that I've got for this week? What is it that I've got for today? I know that I've got a session with a customer to do a demo, or a prospect to do a demo, and I can look through the information and I can get straight into the demo with full confidence that the customer is going to understand what it is we're talking about.
Right. So it's a really helpful sort of information, filling the gaps and making sure the lead's ready to go when you speak to them. Now, normally, Marcus, I'd ask, now that you have someone helping out with email customer service, are you spending that time holidays, with family? I have a feeling in your case, it might just be closing more leads and getting more customers. Is that correct with what you're doing with the extra time? What's changed, I guess, in your life since you've had Kevin on board?
Yeah, look, you're absolutely right. I think the ideal scenario would certainly be more time to go on holidays and to spend time with family. That's certainly a target of mine. That being said, given that we are a young, growing business, and with more leads coming in all day, every day, and Kevin doing a great job of helping us to manage those, I'd say that my time is now spent with going back in and assisting the business, assisting the team members, working a lot more on strategy. So I've got more time freed up to do the strategy. But the sales side of the sales process, I'm finding now that we're very automated, so that I can direct a great conversation with the prospect, and we can glean more so now what it is that the prospect is going to want to know and want to find out at that call. So we've been able to restructure our communications and our documentation, and effectively we've been able to position our business for growth now. So it's really been a great restructure. With that growth will come opportunity to spend more time. That being said, I am headed overseas next week, so we've got a chance for a bit of a break in there as well.
Okay, awesome. Last question, Marcus. So for those who might be listening and they've reached, this point in the video and they still have this feeling like, I'm not sure I could trust someone, for example, like your situation, to take over the lead sales follow-up process via email, because it feels like it's the most important job they do right now. They want to have their hands on all the emails, on all the follow-up, because that's the only way they feel the job will get done well enough. How would you convince or speak to that person, to sort of realize that may not be the best way forward for themselves and their business?
Yeah, look, definitely it's the administrative tasks that typically, especially as a business owner and the CEO of the company, it's something that it's not a day-to-day activity that it would be the right use of my time. It's not effective enough for me if I can be concentrating on growing the business and feeding back into the team members and developing our team so that we can manage the growth that's coming in the door, then that's an important piece of the puzzle, and it'd probably be argued that that's the most important piece of the puzzle. Now, being able to nurture a potential prospect, a lead coming in the door, is absolutely still critical, but being able to hand that over to somebody that has the skills and the capabilities of knowing how to structure an email, to write in the right way, to communicate your brand, communicate our brand with what Kevin does, and communicate it very, very well, is a super relief for us as a growing business. And now, from being able to stand back, it gives me confidence that I know that part of the business is well under control. And so I've got to now focus on the other areas, which is where we can ensure that customers are satisfied, customers are keeping up with their requirements, and that we're building a great team. So yeah, I absolutely implore that if anybody is looking at this from that part of their puzzle as a small growing business, they definitely would benefit from being able to provide and hand over that lead process or that email introductory process to someone that understands the actual process itself and can connect with the prospect the way that they need to, not necessarily from my words, but more from the individual that understands now what our business is. And Kevin's done a great job of understanding our business.
You know, it's funny, Marcus, when you talk about this, it sounds like you never had any kind of emotional concerns around this sort of change. It's just like, it's a process. I need to find a solution for someone else to handle it. And away you go, where other people might be, you know, I just don't trust any other human beings to do this. So I don't feel like you ever went through that experience yourself. You're very, very comfortable with delegating and you know, building systems like that, which might be because of what your company does for other companies, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you're spot on. Yeah, it's exactly right. We live and breathe what we get out there and we sell. So it would be a disservice if we weren't doing that ourselves. It would be a disservice to our customers if we weren't following that same pretense. And I think, yeah, working with you guys has been great to help us do that and realize that.
Awesome, Marcus. Well, thank you for spending a few minutes today to talk about your experience, and congratulations on a 1-year anniversary with Kevin with InboxDone. And you know, we love working with you.
Likewise, thanks, Yarrow, and appreciate it very much. Thank you for the opportunity to share the story.